Welcome to another music production tutorial from Manchester Midi School. My name's Tom Lonsborough. In this tutorial I would like to talk a little bit about Korg's M1 plugin device. So unless you've been hiding under a rock, you probably know that the Korg M1 sound is seriously back in fashion at the moment, all over the majority of sort of chart house music, or some sort of variation of, or some sort of emulation of the Korg M1. But the M1 was the piece of hardware that had that sound first. So I just want to talk you through the Korg M1 plugin from the Legacy collection. Now, the plugin itself is $50 from the Korg website, so it's not going to break the bank. And they now do a 64-bit version, so if you're using Logic Pro X or a 64-bit version of Live, you can now get a free upgrade if you already have it, or just pay and download an original 64-bit version from their website. So for those of you that haven't heard of the M1, there's two sounds from it which are, like I say, really in fashion at the moment. The first one is the organ bass, which sounds a little bit like this. The other one is the piano sound that it has on board. So if we just drop that into the mix. So you've probably all heard that type of sound. Let's just compare that Korg M1 piano with the more realistic sounding grand piano. You can hear there that the grand piano, I'm just using Live's built-in grand piano here, has a sort of warmer, softer flavour to it. The Korg M1 piano, well, it's unmistakable. It's got that sort of digital, harsh quality to it, which it doesn't suit every application, but it's been used on house track after house track, not just recently, but also, well, since its creation in 1988. But it responds really well to being heavily compressed. It's got a bit of sidechain compression on it as well, I think, on the subgroup there. Yeah, it really brings out that harsh digital flavour to it, which I really quite like. So let's have a look, see where we can find that on the Korg M1. So I've just loaded it up now. So that's the default patch. So what I'm going to do is just go to browser. I'm going to go to piano, and actually you'll find both these sounds in one of the presets. So you see there, browser, piano, and I've gone for this one called M1 House Split. Now you see we've got the organ bass and we've got the house piano loaded up into the same patch. Now if I just click on MIDI here, you can see what we've got is, as the name suggests, a split. So the lower keys will trigger the bass, and the keys higher up will trigger the piano. So if you just want to use the bass and you're not bothered about the piano, you can just, having selected MIDI, drag that way, drag that way. So that what that says is, now the sound that's loaded into slot 1 is going to be triggered across the whole of the keyboard, and none of the keys are going to trigger patch 2. Or you could do the opposite. So say you just want the piano, you could do something like that. Now, sometimes the Korg M1 patches come with effects already loaded on. So if we just go to Master Effects, you see, well, this particular patch doesn't, but sometimes the patches have quite a lot of reverb on, like that. And what I tend to do is, although it's got its own vibe, it's quite a grainy effect, I tend to dial that back in favour of being able to control reverbs. Well, depending on what you're using, live or Logic. I just like to use my own reverbs, send and return effects, and dial that back a little bit. Maybe just to leave a little bit in there to carry over a little bit of that grainy flavour, but it doesn't always sit in the mix, especially if it's you're trying to make a modern sounding track. Nice smooth mix down. So just bear that in mind. So as you heard there on the piano, rather than just having the Korg M1 on its own, we've got a bit of EQ on that, bit of compression. Rather than just having that on its own, I have also blended that with a traditional piano sound, just to give the M1 a little bit more weight. So the exact same note's been played, but maybe not necessarily weight as such, but it just bulks out the mids a little bit, which can be lacking in the Korg M1, and it's the same for the bass actually. I think I've doubled that up with something. So yeah, I've got Vember Audio Surge there, just give me a little bit of a thicker texture than just the organ bass on its own. It's a slightly more organic sound. So like I say, there's plenty of plugins that emulate that organ bass. To be fair, if you want looking for that sort of piano sound, it's really hard to get it anywhere else other than the Korg M1. There's a few massive presets that do the house bass, the organ bass pretty well, which I've come across. But again, if you're looking for that original flavour, then you're going to be hard pressed to get that anywhere other than Korg's M1 plugin. So if you have been looking for that very current chart house music sound, hopefully that'll give you a little point in the right direction. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. It's tom@midischool.com. Thanks for watching.